It's 1 a.m. You're not sleeping. You're lying in bed, thumb moving on autopilot, swiping through strangers' faces like a slot machine you can't put down. Left, left, right, left, left, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, it doesn't matter. They're all the same casino. And just like a casino, the house always wins. Here's something that should genuinely disturb you. Your brain judges a face in 0.2 seconds. Not a minute, not 5 seconds. 0.2. Faster than you can read this sentence. Faster than conscious thought even kicks in. And you think you're the one making that decision. You're not. Something much older than you is making it. Something that has been running inside the human brain for 300,000 years. And here's where it gets dark. Because 300,000 years ago, on the brutal, open African savannah, swiping wrong didn't mean getting left on red. It didn't mean an awkward first date at a coffee shop. It meant starvation. It meant predators. It meant your genetic line ending forever. No second chances. No algorithm update. No rematch button. Genetic game over. So how did we go from that? From raw, savage, life or death reproduction on a killing field to this? To dating profiles and heartbreak playlists and crying over a text? Buckle in, because the real origin story of human love is not what anyone taught you in school. Let's go back, way back, before cities, before language, before fire was even consistent. Meet your closest living relative, the chimpanzee. 98.7% of your DNA, almost identical, and their mating system looks like a gang hierarchy designed by a supervillain. No romance, no courtship, no connection, just raw, brutal, unrelenting dominance. The biggest, most violent male controls everything. He doesn't ask, he doesn't negotiate, he takes. Smaller males get nothing unless they can fight their way up the ladder, and then it gets even wilder. When a female chimp enters her fertile window, her body doesn't hide it, it broadcasts it. A massive, pink, swollen physical signal that screams to every single male in range right now. And what follows is not romantic competition. It is a riot. Multiple males, maximum aggression, absolute chaos, no exclusivity, no loyalty, no attachment, just a biological alarm going off and everyone scrambling. Now imagine that same system on the open African savannah. No trees to escape into, lions circling, leopards waiting, hyenas watching, a group of early hominids trying to hunt, trying to gather food, trying to survive, and suddenly a biological riot breaks out in the middle of the group. Every few weeks, in public, in the open, that system was going to get everyone killed. Evolution doesn't negotiate, it just kills the bad ideas and keeps the ones that work. And this system, this was a bad idea. Something had to change. And what changed was the human body itself. Here's where evolution pulled off one of the wildest plot twists in the history of life on Earth. Humans stood up. Bipedalism. 2 legs. Upright posture. Simple, right? Wrong. Standing up triggered a cascade of physical changes that completely rewired human reproduction from the inside out. First, walking upright required a narrower, tighter pelvis. Basic mechanical engineering. But the pelvis is also the birth canal. And simultaneously, over roughly 2 million years, the human brain was exploding in size, tripling in volume, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Big brain needs a big skull. Big skull needs a wide birth canal. But we just narrowed the birth canal to walk upright. Do you see the problem? Evolution's solution was brutal. Human babies are born early, neurologically unfinished, developmentally incomplete. A chimpanzee baby is gripping, climbing, and moving within days of birth. A human baby cannot walk, cannot feed itself, cannot regulate its own temperature, cannot do anything except cry, and immediately attract every predator within half a mile. On a savannah full of apex predators, a human infant is an emergency that doesn't end for years. And there's one more thing evolution quietly slipped in that changed everything. Human females lost their external fertility signal. No swelling, no public alarm, no announcement. Ovulation became completely hidden, even from the female herself in many cases. And that one invisible biological change, that concealed ovulation, that single tweak quietly ended the primate Wild West. Because if no one knows when the fertile window opens, the only winning strategy becomes staying close, all the time. Evolution had just invented the foundation of human bonding. And it wasn't romantic, it was strategic. Now paint the picture. One female hominid, open grassland, no walls, no weapons, no backup. A helpless infant in her arms that cannot be put down without dying. She needs to find food. She needs to nurse. She needs to watch for predators. She needs to find shelter before dark. Simultaneously, alone, the math doesn't work. The infant dies. She dies. Her genes vanish from the record of life. End of story. Unless someone one showed up. Enter the most cold-blooded business deal in evolutionary history. Monogamy was not invented by religion. It was not invented by poets. It was not invented by love. It was a survival transaction. Males who brought high-protein food, meat from hunting, and stayed close to protect the female and infant dramatically increased the infant's odds of surviving. And in exchange, the female offered exclusive, consistent mating access. Not seasonal, not chaotic, reliable. That deal, that cold, calculated, desperate agreement forged on a dangerous savannah was the first pair bond, the literal biological origin of human attachment. Not candlelit dinners, not matching on Hinge. A transaction between two desperate animals trying to keep a fragile baby alive long enough to pass their genes forward. That's where love comes from. That's the machine underneath all of it. Here's the part they don't put in the App Store description. Your brain is still running that 300,000-year-old software. The hardware has barely changed. The update never came. When you feel jealousy, your brain is triggering the same chemical alarm that warned your ancestors their survival partner was leaving. When rejection physically hurts in your chest, that's real. That pain evolved because losing your pair bond once meant losing everything. Your food source, your protection, your infant's survival. And Silicon Valley knows this. Every red notification badge, every match alert, every someone liked you ping, engineered to hit the same reward circuits your ancestors used to feel the rush of finding a reliable partner. They are not selling you love. They are monetizing your loneliness. They found the oldest, deepest survival code in the human brain and turned it into an advertising engine. Your heartbreak, revenue, your jealousy, engagement metric, your desperate 1 a.m. swiping, monthly active user data. The biological matrix that kept your species alive for 300,000 years is now a product, and you are the customer. Somewhere tonight, someone in America is staring at their phone. They just got a breakup text, and it feels like their world is ending. And 50,000 years ago, an ancestor sat by a dying fire on the open savannah, infant asleep, partner close, listening to the darkness for the sound of something dangerous. That feeling between them, no word for it yet, but it was the same thing, same circuitry, same ancient code. What you call love is not a poem. It's not a feeling that makes you special. It's merciless evolutionary engineering that successfully dragged your species through ice ages, plagues, famines, and every extinction event this planet has ever thrown at us. And it worked. You're here. That's the proof. So the next time your chest tightens over someone who didn't text back, just know you are not broken. You are exactly what 300,000 years of brutal selection pressure built you to be. If understanding the machine inside your own mind is the kind of content that hits different, subscribe to the Focus Matrix. We go deeper every single time.